Hi, hello, vanakkam, and welcome back to yet another episode on your favorite Little's Law YouTube channel. In the last 2 days, we are looking at the various ways of doing the testing. In terms of like constant load, and we saw about the ramp up load. So today, we're going to see about the third option or the third way of testing it, and that's the step load plateau testing. And before we move on to this video, I welcome you all to our Little Sly YouTube channel, and I believe these videos are very useful to you. So, for any videos in terms of performance testing or DevOps or in terms of Azure or GitHub, you can very well follow our channel and you can watch those videos. And coming back to today's video on topic, so what is a step load? So here you can see the way that we do the step load. So here you can see how did we do the step load. And in fact, let me give you the quick definition of what is a step load. So we increase the users in distinct steps with plateaus to observe the system behavior at each level. And talking about the regular concept, when do we use the step load plateau testing? So we start with testing any specific load levels, and when we want to identify the exact capacity tiers, and when we want to observe the recovery between steps. Yes, that's the very key point in terms of performance testing, to understand when exactly the application comes back or recovers back. So talking about the implementation, let's go back to the code section. We cannot escape that. Let me start the locust file.py, and at the same time, let me navigate to the locust environment, ls cd. Where is that file again? I'm in the locust environment, and let me quickly do a little ls, and yeah, cd step load. Yep, I'm in my cd step load. Let me do an ls again. Yep, I'm in the right file, so I have the locust file.py, and let me get the code for you, which I have already created and I have tested it. And here is the code. So let me quickly explain the code as well. So let me quickly start the purpose of the test. So the goal is to observe the system behavior at different load levels, and this is what I'm going to use for that, where I'm going to hold each level steady for a fixed duration, like I've mentioned here, like for 2 minutes, 2 minutes, and 2 minutes. Yes, this is how I'm gonna hold the load, like for each users. And then by doing this, what I'm gonna achieve, so by doing this, by holding for this duration and by stepping up, I'm gonna identify the performance thresholds, the bottlenecks, or the degradation as the user count increases. And talking about this step load shape, so this class is actually a custom load patterns where I'm defining, or this class defines how the number of simulated users changes over time. And here are the key parameters where I'm gonna set up the step time, which is equal to 120, which is 2 minutes for each step. So each step is going to last for 2 minutes, and then the step load, which is 50. So each step adds 50 users, and then the spawn rate equals 10, which means new users are added at a rate of 10 per second, and then the time limit, which is 480. So the test is going to run for 8 minutes total. And then if you see here, I've got in line number 22, I've got the tick method. So what is a tick method? So this method is called periodically by Locust to determine the current number of users. Using this function, which is runtime equals self.get of runtime. And then I'm going to get how long the test has been running, which is through this command. If runtime is greater than self.time limit, I'm going to return none. And then moving to the last part, which is the ends the test after 8 minutes. That's how the command is going to work. And then I'm using the current step, which is equal to runtime, and the users of int of current step plus 1. And then I'm calculating the steps, like which steps we are in and how many users to simulate, using the return users um, of self.spawn rate, where I'm going to tell Locust how many users to run and how fast to span them. And then moving on to the next class, which is the step load user, the most interesting part of this test, where I'm going to define what each virtual user does during the test. So here I've got the wait time, the famous thing time part. And then if you see here, I've divided the task into 3 different sections with different weights, right? So we have already learned what a wait is and how does it really work. I'm not going to bore with the old stuff, but yeah, if you want to learn, please do go to the previous videos and where you can find how what does this task work and how does it work. So each method decorated with task represents an action a user might take. So the number in parentheses is the relative weight, and here the get posts wait 5, which fetches all the posts, and then the self.client posts, and then the next item, which is the get post, which is weight of 2, where we are going to fetch a random post by id, as you see here, the post id and then the self client. And then we have got the wait one, the last task, which is task of 1, where I'm going to create a new post. So here, just to give you a quick summary of the load test based on the step up test that we've given. So so for the first 2 minutes, I'm going to have 50 users, which is going to be a steady load. And then I'm going to have from 2 to 4 minutes, I'm going to have 100 users where I've got an increased load. And then 4 to 6th minute, I've got 150 users with another higher load. And then 6 to 8 will be for 200, which will be the peak load. And once it is greater than 8 minutes, I'm going to end my test. So now let's quickly go back and let's start the test and let's see how does it really work. Let me get back to my command prompt. Locust minus f. This is going to be my locust file.py minus host equals https:// JSON placeholder typicode.com and then minus headless. So when I'm gonna run headless, I'm not gonna run through my web page. Instead, I'm gonna see everything here and HTML step underscore load underscore report.html to get the report in a HTML format. And we'll see how does this really work, where we can see the observation through the report here. And let's wait for a few seconds for the test to get warm up and start running. And after that, we'll start analyzing each step and we will learn what exactly has happened. So here, if you see here, we've got the shape test updating at 50 users at 10 spawn rate, and then it has slowly started to increase. And here you can see now it is 50 users, 50 total users, because that's how our initial test has been planned. So we have got 50 users in the system, and then yeah, slowly it has been increasing based on our code. Let's wait for a few more seconds to get it done. And yeah, the test is running fine. So we don't need to wait for the last 8 minutes, but let me quickly tell you what will happen at this point of time. So 50 users, we'll get a comfortable and a fast response. And then with 100 users, the response time will still be good, but there will be a slight increase. And then with 150 users, it'll start to struggle in terms of the response, in terms of the application. There will be few failures because we have increased the load, right? And then between 200 users, yes, it's clearly overloaded and it's gonna fail at some point of time. So here we can exactly pinpoint when the degradation starts, right? And that's how it really works. So with that, I come to the end of this video. In case if you're interested to run these different kind of testing, these different types of testing, please do try them. Please do start with the constant load, the ramp up load, and the step load, and you're gonna explore a lot, and you are gonna be the front runner in terms of performance testing. So I wish you all the very best. And in fact, in the next video, we're gonna see how to do the spike testing, where we're gonna do sudden traffic surges. With that, I come to the end of this video. Until I see you all in our next video, it's bye from Vasan Shanmugam and your favorite Little Slaw YouTube channel. Take care and bye-bye.